Abusha fema munyina kwa baba Vibe Africa kase so nsama yensaka ena yesim nkonya yede bedan awefo atiefo ni adofo enyina media ne obahema na ama asanto afeje breneti nsam no emu enchemu ankasa ye kwakopie mu ewo eyeho fraumantum emu na arahusem bi asi ewo ho ni nyina ne se abemu a wonye mfinhia no yedu enson 17 year old boy ena chesa abemu wayi yese eye ayiramo ate ede agu ne so akum no ama ene onka tasefom ebiem na brantie no anasa abemu wa no emu no chese biaya ayiramu yi ete ede gu ne so akum no temamufo anasa posifo so wonum esuro se ebia wo monsa ekokoka abrantie no a na wo monso akwakowu bi enti fiti joda akolayi eto anananom wonsedo ebra na wo kọ baabi akodini dwuma na mposi ade so no a wo kwakwakoton no emu no gusu da kwantempon no eso a obibia esuro a wo mpese wo beben ho kra honsam akwakodane ensema kese ewo ho a enei enipa entumi enka na yenko framantem mu na yentie honsam emra
for ni akeke this asema ma asamba ebi na wotweda pepepe ye pam ho atade ne asusu ne de ahyewo ebi susu se ye honhomboni bi a etifiri soro ebesi akora ne so na ya manbofo Abdul Faiza ewa homa no so ye ne Abdul Faiza ntwetwe nkomo Faiza na roma ate nkem ha.
Good afternoon my brother.
Faiza boy nkomo e de na si poti arahusem yatimi atu Emmanuel yi.
Well, I think you have rightly stated the occurrence yesterday. A young man is a coconut seller. He was 17 and sells a coconut just opposite the regional office of the electricity company of Ghana, here in Ho. And so yesterday, during a very brief and short showers, there was a lightning strike and he could not survive it. Two other persons who were involved were sent to the hospital, and this morning we are being told they have been discharged. In the case of Emmanuel, who is presumably dead, the body has since been left here since yesterday. Nobody is able to get closer to the body because of the fear that this particular happening, once it happens in the Volta region, people are able to attribute it to some traditional beliefs. And the case is that people believe here that there is a tender god, which is commonly known as Yesu, and that anytime an incident of this nature happens and it is linked to it, the thinking also is that the victim might have committed a crime or a relative might have done so, and they have been cursed, and so the god actually strikes. So in the case of Emmanuel, the body is still lying down here. Nobody is able to get closer, and it is only when a rite is performed that the body is taken. As I speak to you, the families are seated here in a meeting. They informed us earlier this morning that they have sent a delegation to Nogopo yesterday. Nogopo in the Ketu South municipality, the Almaty Nogopo, to go and consult the gods as to the next steps to be taken. And so the delegation is back. They are seated in a meeting. We'll be waiting to hear from them right after the meeting. But of course, the police service, on the other hand, have not been able to come here since yesterday because they also fear that the deaths have been linked to the tradition we are talking about. The environmental health officers were here this morning. They told us they will not touch the body until they have express permission from the families and the necessary rites be performed. And so basically, the body of Emmanuel Tolly, the 17-year-old boy who was struck yesterday, is still lying down here untouched.
First, Samituasia, spiritual suspicion, body net so that one will be uncle body no one. Sabi Mususu say,
That's exactly what I'm saying. And you see, the implication is that when it happens so, and indeed it is a spiritual issue, once you go closer to the body, you are also bringing onto yourself some other consequences. People fall sick through that. People become paralyzed. These are diseases that are very predominant and prevalent in the South. And so those in Ho, for instance, in Upper Volta, when it happens like this, they usually run down to the South to undertake the consultations and the military rights in cases of this nature. And so that's exactly what the family is doing.
My first, where did it can be say at Miasiana? Now, which be said, or more GDA will be a friend, tender God, Muse, will be Dibonia, tender God, no strike, or Nipano Sukum Nipano. Where did it can?
Well, the last time I heard of an incident of this nature was somewhere around 2008-9 thereabout. That particular one happened in the Katinos municipality. I got here this morning and I am learning from colleagues that in recent times, some of these are happening, occurred in the region in other parts, not specific areas that I can speak to. But let me point this out, that even though I am not a traditionalist, I grew up in the South. And this is one of the beliefs that dates back and it's still in existence. In fact, in some cases where you go to steal somebody's coconut, I remember in my days in secondary school, we were not allowed to touch people's coconuts somewhere around Kettle South in particular. The belief is that people sometimes go to the gods to take some form of concoction or whatsoever for their farming. And so once they have the backing of the gods to do their farming and you go to steal, you are possibly going to be struck by the god. It's something that people speak about famously and with so much pride. It's the reason why in the past, theft cases were not very prevalent in these areas, except that in recent times things are changing. People are stealing. You hear of theft cases, but in the past, this is one of the reasons why you hardly hear of theft cases in the South. You sleep with somebody's wife, you are likely going to be sacked by the tender god, and it is very, very scary. It puts people away from some of these social vices.
Feza, mena senam found Yamanbo for Ton Crafty from Montamuvota region. Feza Abdul Idrusu Amanabo and Oti and I feel more joining in a Facebook Live. Say, oh, share and a brand here, Emmanuel Sudi and Nankanyami, any young woho. So be to the bay Emmanuel Natchez in Yamiba Kranapa. Na yes, I was Mara God to be. Sabu Smunkitin Kitty a friend, tender God, or from Montamu, Capita, Hope. Na yes, would the one if I would be Puna will be here. Will be Pietro and one are also in Sadun Fanyard, Mamma Pietro, and baby Alco, we say, Groom. Won't find Ruba be an avium to natures a tender god, no, woman natural, womana, one in jet, no for Pietro Nanko, saying one in a trim. Na a yuma teacher, a teacher Pesusua, a Chiacom, a bottle from Obian to me, Mel, this a mamma money and a nomashe. I will vote origin from one to Mumutmi, and Snabet to me. Nipa betuma banche, nipa betuma banche. Enti Emmanuel, tender strike one sukum no.